I mean, when I opened my business, getting the license was not that hard. It was hard to get financing, so it was financed through my savings and family. It was really impossible to get any financing. So we started small. We had made so many mistakes, so we lost money here and there, but we learned also from our mistakes. And I think that's what my experience.
On the professional level, as I said to you, I had a business, but the business, I didn't have orientation and workshop, how to deal with the taxation and the insurance and so on. So I was ill-prepared to start with. So I thought, business like our country, with okay, you open a business and then, but I think, when I look back, for any immigrant community, before they granted a business, I think it should be mandatory a workshop, to know the laws, the expectation, and the finance, and so on and so on. So this was not part of, loan, how to get a loan, how to succeed, and all those things, was absent. I don't know whether today they give workshop for small business and minority. I don't have any clue, but then, from my own experience, those are the dilemmas that really eventually contribute to my failure in terms of succeeding, because I was not expecting such. So if I was able to get those information, I would have a second thought, even opening a business.
I asked the Social Security. I told them that I have house at my homeland. So that house is covered by my relative. She's taking care of that house. She lives inside, so they didn't give me Social Security. That's what I was not satisfied with that. I told the reality. I didn't hide anything, and that was not good, Sometimes when you tell the truth, they don't accept. That I feel, something in my heart, yeah. But the government does not do anything wrong with other seniors. They get the Social Security. But one thing, people coming here, the seniors, are trying to work a kind of job, a kind of job. When they try to work, they deny the benefits. That is not good. My final conclusion is the King County must have representative to understand seniors' problems, what they are in need of, what they want, what they didn't get, before, and they will tell. Of course, I'm telling some part of seniors' problem, not all problems, Each an individual has his own problem. So seniors can't tell their problems, when the King County arrange a representative. Yeah.
Most people are, like I say, positive, but there were people who have a wrong assumption on both sides, on my business side and on where I work as a full-time employee. People had a wrong assumption, and when they have a wrong assumption, I think it takes to a really bad relationship. So I, like where I work as the computer lab coordinator or RegTech site lead, people, some, very few, assume that I am not in charge, even though I can help them, and they really go and look to solve their problems where I can easily help them. The problem is they had a wrong assumption that because I am not able or I'm not capable, or they say I'm not in charge of that place. On the business side, some people, very few, have a wrong assumption, thinking that I opened the business because the government gave me money, or some other agencies, they gave me money. They have really a wrong assumption that I work hard, save money to open the business. So in some people also, because of the bad assumptions, they think that I am a newcomer and took their money. So there are some misunderstanding locally on the business side and on my other job.
I have several incidents in a professional life, in education. In one of the schools I used to go, as a student, we do assignments in a group. This is in North Seattle Community College, and this instructor is very old instructor. I remember I was the only colored person in the class, so he told me, "Yeah, I know you never been working in HVAC. What makes you will be successful and work in white neighborhood?" I said, I posed myself, if I say something about it, then I'm gonna be against the teacher, and then the whole object is going to fall apart. So, I told him, I had a bachelor, and this is very easy compared to what I had. So, finally, I tried to put it down, but really I was hurted in my soul or emotion. He always graded me unfairly, and some of the students even, who helped them, they were getting better grades, and they told him, "Why don't you go to the, chancellor office and sue him?" And I said, if I sue him, then I'm not going to graduate. So I have to overcome those, setbacks or difficulties. So if you're looking for something big, those minor obstacles should not be a hindrance, because life is not smooth.
There is one thing that always strikes me. I found 2 or 3 people, and they ask me where I am from. And when I tell them I'm from Ethiopia, some of them, they told me, "Oh, yeah, you're welcome to America. You are here, you can eat, and just, you are full, you are not hungry anymore." Really, that judgment is not right, because any immigrant here has his own reason or her own reason, and most of us, we know that people who are really hungry do not have access to come to the United States. They can't afford the plane, they can't come here even. But we have different reasons, family, political, or some other personal health, some other personal reasons they may have, people. But when people tell me that you are here because you can get food here, that's not. I had a job. Rather, I was able to help other people. I was able to do that. So I'm not here to eat or for food, but I encountered some 3 or 4 people asking me that I'm blessed here. Yes, of course I'm blessed here, but not for the food, for the democracy I enjoyed, for the freedom I enjoyed, for being in the land of opportunity. Yes, I'm blessed, but not for the bread.
People always comes in a different ways. Some of them, they will be very sarcastic. They don't tell you, "Oh, such, you are such and such," but in a way that makes you feel, But personally, nobody talked to me face to face, but also, you know, you kind of, when you live in a Western world for so long, the way the demeanor, the way the eye contact, you know, the way they talk to you in a descending manner, you can understand. They don't have to spell it, you know, in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable. But nevertheless, they show those kind of signs.
The first year I'm here, I went to one department store in downtown to buy a clothes, and then after I pick up some clothes and I was trying to walk to the fitting room, there was a salesperson. She was there, and she approached me and she asked me, please don't steal clothes. What? You know, I was just trying to buy, and I pick up some clothes I selected, and I was heading to the fitting room. For me, she will never say that to any people who is entering the fitting room. I feel that I was profiled by her, but you know, it was my first year. I said, I was quiet. You know, I told you our culture, or my personal behavior, or not knowing my rights and my obligations at that time here, just I keep quiet. I went to the fitting room, and but it's always in my mind why that lady told me not to steal the clothes. And yeah, I can say this was a moment that I remember in the first year I applied for one job. It was King District Natural Resource Conservation for agro-engineer position, and it was exactly my profession. And I went there, I was interviewed, and they were impressed by my qualifications. But they told me that I need a local experience. And then I said, okay, I'm new here. Where I'm going to get that local experience? I have to start somewhere. I had really a difficult time for that.
When I moved in the early 90s, I needed a job so badly, any kind of job. So I was working on First and Pike, and this guy who owns a parking lot, he posted over there, job wanted park. And it was very unusual. You know, back then, you know, everybody was, you know, job, there is a job here and there, unlike today. So I went to him and I said, I want a job. And he looked at me, I don't think so, you will work here. And I said, why not? You know, I looked at you, you seem a very educated person, so I am afraid. And I told him, no, I will work here, believe me. And I didn't know he was the owner, because the way he dressed, he doesn't look like he owns a lot. You know, that's the stereotype part of me. But you know, I ended up having the best, you know, choice that I made, because while I was working, he accommodated me to go to school. I got my AA and my bachelor, and after that, you know, I moved to city of Seattle and work at Seattle Center. You know, because of your accent, because of your look, you know, people sometimes judge you, you know. But once, you know, they know, in most cases, you know, when I work and they see They Google you and they see me here, my profile and all those things, completely 180 degrees, they will change. Or why do you work such kind of work when you have all those? And I say, we came from a different background. Work is a part of life. We don't discriminate work. Work for us is a way of life, whether it is professional, whether it is, because our ego is not going to feed us. So I tell them this. So of course, those are, as an immigrant, those are the things that you face on daily basis.
People like me who came from Ethiopia, when we talk with to elderly people, and when we talk to our bosses or respected people, we don't stare to their eyes. Here we call it eye contact. If you don't see people, just if you don't have eye contact when you speak, here people consider you that you are lying or you are hiding something and you don't have a confidence on what you are talking. So most of us at the beginning, when we don't do eye contact and we discuss with people, they understand, they misunderstand us. The other thing I can say that most of us can be, we can have a misunderstanding by other people because in our culture we don't say I can do this, I can do this, I have this ability, I can create this. We don't talk too much about ourselves. In other words, we are not trying to sell ourselves. But here, if you are able to do something, you have to tell that you can do that. You don't have to say, I will try. If you are applying for a job, you'll not be hired to try, right? So you have to, if you can do something, you should say that I can do it. But back, where I came from in Ethiopia, we have the culture that we say, can you do this? You say, I'll try. But you are the expert. You can fly an airplane. Can you do this? Can you fly an airplane? Yeah, you can say, yes, I can. But, for us, we say that, I will try. But we can fly very well. So a long time ago, as I came here, I take a job training course. It was prepared by the King County. I remember her name was Nancy. It was in South Seattle Community College for 3 days training. It's job readiness training. I went there, and then there are lists of qualities, about personal qualities that you have to mention on your resume. And then said, I am quality conscious. I am intelligent. I finish everything in timely manner. You name it. There are a list of very positive quality about your personal profession. Then I asked her, in my country, we don't say, oh, I am a quality conscious. I am intelligent. I'm genius. We don't say that. So how can I say? She told me, you have to learn. You have to learn this. If I were you, I would say, I am this. I know your quality. Why don't you say it for yourself? So, yeah, many of us have that problem.
For King County, as I said earlier, they have to, reach beyond. They have to meet us halfway. We can't do it alone if they really want to make a change, especially in employment. And employment in opportunity, so regarding, to look what the city of Seattle, its form of diversity. We can talk about equity and social justice, but also they have to be open, for possession is something that really touches the lives of immigrants. I can go on. For interpreters, for instance, we've been advocating for so long, it has to be given to community, because many times the King County outsources interpreters to other commercial organization. And they do a very bad job. I mean, it doesn't really make sense 4 or 5 times I read. But when they give it to the community, when they work with the community, we can get more result-oriented work and also collaboration. So what I want to say for King County is they have to make effort to work with the community leaders and civic organizations to make a better change, rather than work with individuals who wants to promote their own interests. So the race and social justice is a good theme, but also at the same time, even within the city of Seattle, it has to reflect our diversity and vision of race and social justice, because we have enough professional people who are experienced, well-educated to take any position. What they needed is openness and fairness and equity in all aspects of our social life. So what I needed to see is the integration of more professional people in the city job, especially in the city. And you see, sometimes, there is a saying, the unknown things is the most that people can fear. See, sometimes, people, they stereotype you for so many reasons. I always advise fellow immigrants, the best way is not to change somebody, but to change yourself in order to fit in. Because the easiest part is to convince yourself. Once you convince yourself for this challenge, then we'll say, well, because people can make assumption. They don't know who you are. You know yourself who you are. So whatever assumptions they make about you, you shouldn't take it personally. You take it personally when somebody knows who you are and try to say something negative about you, maybe. But for people, who never met you, who doesn't know much about you, stereotype is a part of life. The people like me who came early, we didn't prepare our community to deal with this kind of issue. I mean, the first thing is those people, they go to their community, if they have problems, and the community was not dealt back then. I'm talking about back then, but now it will be totally different. But those has to be, a facet in terms of helping the community members, especially for people who come a little bit earlier, for those people who came. So I see it is a failure part of us working with the King County, being the community as a cornerstone to serve both the community and the needs of our people, and also, like King County and others, to get those resources needed. The immigrant community is one of the fastest growing community at King County. And I don't believe that we got what we deserve. One, because of our inability to exploit the resources. That could be the case, because I always tell my friends, here, the law only gets you the due process. But for justice, you have to fight. You have to fight. You get only due process. but you don't get justice. In order to get justice, you have to fight. So the question that I ask is, do we do enough fight to ascertain our role in the society? We don't, normally, to tell you quite frankly. So, in a short, we have to, nobody is going to give us, what we deserve, our place in history, our place in a professional life. We have to fight for it. And that's what we are, creating those grassroots and civic engagement so that we can educate the people in all aspects of their life. Whatever they put, all politicians, they are answerable to them. That's what it starts, civic engagement.
I advise any immigrant, either professional or not, to look for information, to engage with the community. That time the community was not so big. Now there are a lot of opportunities that you can get information. There are friends, family members, and communities, associations. So what I can look for those information and update themselves, and then it's a land of opportunity. You can be whatever you want as long as you work hard and you get the right land. For those who have a language barrier, yeah, of course, yeah. In many places there are interpreters and to help you in medical services or social service. But to improve their own life or our own life, if we have a language barrier, it's a good idea to take some language courses so that communication will be easier.